So I'm really happy to see you in the recap, the miracle recap today with these lessons that we are in right now with the daily lessons. If you do them, these are like the basis of the Course in Miracles as an further, like an advanced teaching, you could say, to go deeper into the essence of what the lessons actually entail. So this is really great because today, for instance, we look at 152. That was the lesson of yesterday, but it's so useful. But it's like to stand still with it. You see how deep it is, and you might read over that when you just do the lesson of the day. But if you're really going to take a break and dissect it a little bit, it's like there's so many questions, there's so much being offered. It says stand still, do this, and listen to that, and like it is a real day job to do this lesson well in a certain sense, and it is, of course. It's like this practice is not just for doing it 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. No, this is, if you want to know what's going on truly, then this is an essential step that helps you to discover what is actually going on, what is actually true about you, and what does it mean that truth is true, and more considerations like this. So that's something that we check out today for sure in lesson 152. But then I always like to start with the reading together, and this could be like just the first 15 lessons. We've done this before, but it's such a great exercise to get in touch of the release of mind, the releasing of ideas, the releasing of value, the releasing of engagement with your thoughts, totally release-based are the first 15 lessons. It's like the past is gone, thoughts are meaningless, all this stuff that keeps you, in fact, occupied with a three-dimensional world is like you're 15 times asked to release it, to let it go. Why? Not to walk around here with nothing. No, to see that you're not walking around here at all and that you're home in heaven. That's basically the goal of it. It's like there's a peace beyond understanding. You want to get in touch with that. Well, you have to let go of what you think is going on here, thinking that determines who you are. This is here we go. So if you feel like reading with me, this is great. I love it. So let's see. I'll do the first one. Nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. So if you feel like reading, just go ahead.
J'ai donné à ce que je vois toute la signification que cela a pour moi. J'ai jugé tout ce que je regarde, et c'est cela et cela seul que je vois. Cela n'est pas la vision. Ce n'est qu'une illusion de réalité, parce que mes jugements ont été faits tout à fait à part de la réalité. Je suis désireux de reconnaître le manque de validité de mes jugements, parce que je veux voir. Mes jugements m'ont blessé, et je ne veux pas voir en conformité avec eux.
I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before?
These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I'm trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God.
I am never upset for the reason I think. I am never upset for the reason I think because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. I am willing to let it go.
I am upset because I see what is not there. Reality is never frightening. It is impossible that it could upset me. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I have replaced reality with illusions I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality, and thus regard reality as an illusion. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I'm always upset by nothing.
Je ne vois que le passé. Quand je regarde autour de moi, je condamne le monde que je regarde. J'appelle cela voir. Je reproche le passé à chacun et à chaque chose, et j'en fais mes ennemis. Quand je me serai pardonné et me serai souvenu de qui je suis, je bénirai tous ceux et tout ce que je vois. Il n'y aura pas de passé et donc pas d'ennemis. Et je regarderai avec amour tout ce que je manquais de voir auparavant.
My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see only my own thoughts, and my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. Let me understand that I'm trying to use time against God. Let me learn to give the past away, realizing that in so doing I'm giving up nothing.
Je ne vois rien tel que c'est maintenant. Si je ne vois rien tel que c'est maintenant, on peut vraiment dire que je ne vois rien. Je ne peux voir que ce qui est maintenant. Le choix n'est pas entre voir le passé et voir le présent. Le choix est simplement entre voir et ne pas voir. Ce que j'ai choisi de voir m'a coûté la vision. Maintenant, je voudrais choisir à nouveau afin de voir.
My thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts. Yes, it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can these thoughts mean? They do not exist, and so they mean nothing. Yet my mind is part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless private thoughts?
My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. What is producing this world is insane, and so it is what it produces. And so is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing.
I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Insane thoughts are upsetting. They produce a world in which there is no order anywhere. Only chaos rules in a world that represents chaotic thinking, and chaos has no laws. I cannot live in peace in such a world. I am grateful that this world is not real, and that I need not see it at all unless I choose to value it. And I do not choose to value what is totally insane and has no meaning.
A meaningless world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable and offers no grounds for trust. Nothing in madness is dependable. It holds out no safety and no hope. But such a world is not real. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it. Now I choose to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality. In choosing this, I will escape all the effects of the world of fear because I am acknowledging that it does not exist.
God did not create a meaningless world. How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in his mind. It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts, when the perfection of my creation is my home? Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide. My thoughts are the images that I've made. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I'm seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I'm not allowing my real thoughts to cast a beneficent light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against him, because it is not my will that they do so. My will is his, and I will place no other gods before him. All right, here's our warming up. So you read through it. You read through the first 15 lessons, you think like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. Oh yeah, of course, yes, of course, yes, of course. And then you read over it. You don't even realize what you're saying. You agree with it because it sounds like, yeah, that makes sense. But that seems to be taking place on a different level than where you experience yourself. So there's still like a distancing to the ideas that you are reading. While they are about you, they have with nothing else to do. This has everything to do with you. And everything it says is referring you to where you truly are. And that's the occurrence here. It's like, that's so hard to read because you can so much agree with it conceptually. It's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Of course that's true. Yes, yes. But have you accepted the idea? No, you don't. You did not. You heard about it, but you didn't accept it yet. And after the acceptance of the idea, are you coming into a demonstration of it? So these are three different steps that we take all the time in fact, learning something new or releasing something old. And this is really amazing to see that happen, because I realize it when I read this. It is making so much sense, but you take one part out of it and take a look at it, and you say like, well, I might not 100% do that yet. Like, I like the idea, but yeah. So we're still, in fact, distancing ourselves from what we read, like keeping a safe distance, because what might happen if you completely accept this? Now, this completely accepting this is where it actually becomes a Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles is not a course in trying to use miracles in this world, or trying to become a great teacher in this world, or trying to do everything right in this world. No, this Course in Miracles is the recognition that there's no such thing as this world. And that's it. It's like, that's it, because if you recognize that, you're literally, transported into the experience of your true being. So that you don't realize it when you read that, but this is where you're made ready for, you could say, made ready for. You come into the demonstration of this, and you start to experience miracles. Miracles take you literally out of this. Miracles really show you that the body isn't real. They show you this world isn't what it looks like. It's not real at all. It's not understandable. It's a representation of associative thinking. Like, you have your associations and you glue it together with your ideas about it and your values. So in order to come to your true essence, you will have to release the value that you place on this world. For you, the world is very real. That's why you are here. That's why you're participating in it. Now, that transfer, like that transport or transfer into invisibility, into your true selfness, would take forever if it was an evolutionary process. It would slowly but certainly would recognize my brother is not separate from me. And then another 10,000 years later, you recognize, like, well, this might not be the place where we actually exist, because there's such thing as disease, disaster, and death, and separation, and I can lose the ones I love, and all this. Like, this can actually not be it. And then another 10,000 years, slowly but certainly, you start to see, like, there's a way of coming into an experience of recognizing your holiness and coming into an experience of communication now and then. And another 10,000 years later, so we're talking about another 40,000 years before this would, like, literally come into an evolution within mankind. Like, we're not done attacking each other, obviously not. Like, no, that is still very much alive as a thought. Well, there's the idea of peace is in the mind too, and the idea of peace still seems to be connected to the other guy. If you do that, then I can be at peace. But that will take another 20,000 years before it resolves. If it goes like into a biological evolution in which mankind develops himself to what? Homo Illumina. So luckily there's such thing as a Course in Miracles, because the Course in Miracles is designed to speed this process up. To come to a revolutionary process in this instead of an evolutionary. So the revolution is taking place in you, and that's why you're attracted to listen to this or to be here in this meeting. That is the great thing. So now 2,000 years can collapse into 1 second by you realizing, oh my God, there's a God. There's such thing as wholeness. I can't believe it. I just caught a glimpse of it. See, otherwise that would have happened in 20,000 years, and now you already are experiencing it. You dedicate your day to miracles. Another 15,000 years collapsed. And on and on and on. It's like that is a real speed up. You have no idea what you're doing here, what you're involved in. But this is a serious speed up to come to the end of time. And the end of time is literally the resurrection that already took place, but now in full realization within you taking place again. You remember your own resurrection and literally knowing your true place within the kingdom, being one with God, being one with your Father. Like as a concept, it's really easy. I'm one with my Father. Of course, He created me. So I'm one with my Father. Now here, to let it become a full-blown conscious experience of yourself, it needs a couple of miracles, you could say. That needs some miracles. Now, the lessons that we're doing right now in the 150s, 140s, 150s, 160s are like incredible speed ups. They put the finger right where it hurts, you could say, where you don't want to hear this, or where you are actively resisting, or where you are not even aware that you covered it up about what is going on within you in order to release yourself from this bondage. So that is something else. So I'm going to pull up from lesson 152 some expressions that are very helpful in this process. It's like we're really into some deep existential philosophy, you could say. Oops, sorry. Here we are. So the expression is, truth is true and nothing else is true. Truth is true and nothing else is true. And you say like, yes, of course, that's right. Of course it's true. Yeah, truth is true. Yeah, sure. See, now you can agree with that really easily. That's not so difficult. But here we go. Jesus knew this already, so he brings in some new idea. Salvation is the recognition that the truth is true and nothing else is true. This you've heard before, but may not yet accept both parts of it. Without the first, the second has no meaning. But without the second, the first is no longer true. Truth cannot have an opposite. Now here's the thing, when you read this, you can say like, oh, okay, well, let's continue. It's like, no, you missed it. No, take time. Here, listen to this. Salvation is the recognition that truth is true, right? That's easy. Nothing else is true. That's the part we don't like, because we want the nothing else that is not true also to be part of truth. That's what we have done in the world. I mean, we want our illusions to be true, at least some of them that you treasure. Well, here it is. Now, truth is true, nothing else is true. That's where your salvation lies. Truth is true. Yep, absolutely. That's part we accept. Nothing else is true is that part that we're still figuring out. But with our figuring out, the first expression, truth is true, has no meaning at all. Because it is total. It is not like a compromise. It is not dilutable. No, it's pure. Truth is true. That is a pure expression. It's a total whole expression. And expression in terms of a creative expression of your the truth of you. So without the second is the first no longer true. That's how far it goes. So you keep one thing that you want to be true, knowing it isn't true, because you cannot fool yourself really, makes it that you don't believe that truth is true. So truth has no opposites. In other words, See, this is a big one. So let's see. This cannot be too often said and thought about. Now here, try this. So this is your second paragraph. Now the first one you skipped half and you continue. I'm just saying. Now you continue the second paragraph. This cannot too often be said and thought about. Yeah, that's right. No, that's not right. No, you have to think about it now. You have to say this to yourself, and you have to think about this. And try to see if you can find some examples that it actually is right, what is being said here. So otherwise it becomes a sentence that says this cannot be too often said and thought about, and that you read continuously just with the next sentence, and I just missed it completely. You know what I'm saying with listening. This is not so much reading as it is listening. This cannot be too often said and thought about. So, okay, so now let's think about this. Okay, here's a statement. For if what is not true is true, as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is like 100% false. It is not true at all. See what I mean with doing the lesson and dissect it a little bit, like really going into it. For if what is true is, for what is not true is true as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Now you can have defenses and say like, well, I'm not really into this philosophical work here. I don't really know what this says. It's okay. Like, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you can do this. So you can do this in the sense of release your resistance to it and just actually take a look at it, what this says. Obviously, I'm talking to myself. I know myself. This cannot be too often said and thought about. For if what is true, not true, is true as well as what is true, then part of truth is false, and truth has lost its meaning. Nothing but the truth is true, and what is false is false. And that's good news. So that's absolutely wonderful. This is the simplest of distinctions, yet the most obscure. But not because it is a difficult distinction to perceive. No, here it is. It is concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. It seems like depending on something else that you can't get this, because it seems like you have apparently a depending relationship with the world, where the world does things to you. So that's why this is a salvation lesson more than anything else. It says it in the beginning. Salvation is the recognition that truth is true and nothing else is true. So where is this taking place? Not in the world. This is taking place in me. And it has nothing to do with the world. So this is, in other words, is an honest conversation I have with myself. I'm actually looking at this and see that if I would not accept it completely, I would literally give it away to something else that still has an effect on me because I think it is real. What could the world possibly tell you if you made it up? Nothing. So it's concealed behind a vast array of choices that do not appear to be entirely your own. Now these are all the laws that you have made up, you could say. This is you doing that to yourself. But here's also where your consciousness, say, grows in that sense, because you start to see, no, this is completely depending upon me, not upon anything else. See, for me it's very much fun to take a look at it this way, because like this can bring you complete salvation. It's like this takes care of all your excuses not to accept it. to literally come to the next stage of your acceptance of this idea and start to come into the demonstration of this. Like literally, this has with nothing else to do than with you. This lesson is made for you, not to do in this class nice together or anything in that sense. Like, no, the acceptance part is yours. You can only accept this for yourself. In doing so, you collapse time, like immeasurably. Instead of the 40,000 years of evolutionary process that is right in front of you, where you would slowly but certainly evolve to a Homo illumina instead of a Homo sapiens, as you appear to be now. It's like this is the collapse that is taking place. So this is incredible. You have an opportunity in this lifetime, in this moment, in this section of time, to speed this up in such a way. It's incredible. Now the simplicity of this is you only have to accept this for yourself. What is the result of that acceptance? You'll be taken out of this idea of yourself. You've been taken out of this world that you appear to be in because you composed that yourself. You release those ideas, like we say, like letting go in the first 15 lessons, letting go of this. That is the result of that, is that you are literally being lifted out of this, literally hurled into reality, into the real world, into the face of Christ. So that needs to be accepted before anything can happen. So this is why we do this. Like that's the incredible speed up, but it's also like now you know there's such thing as truth, otherwise you would not be listening to this or being here. Like you know there's something as truth. Don't you want to know completely what that is? Do you recognize that if you don't know that you don't even know who you are? Don't you want to know who you are and experience that fully in your consciousness? Of course you want that. That's why you're here. So this goes, this is just your individual responsibility to accept this and to allow this to be opened for you in such a way that you cannot believe is possible. Literally, you can't believe that it's possible. That's why it's a miracle. That's why the miracle can happen, to show you that. The miracle is nothing than the shift into invisibility. For a moment it's like you're lifted out of this and you recognize, oh my God, I'm the dreamer of this dream, but there's nothing real about it. There's nothing real about it. It has no reality, so it can never determine who I am. Everything is changing here. You cannot believe it. Everything is changing so fast, I don't even know what to think about it. I don't understand anything of what is occurring here at all. And I'm not even going to try anymore. Now we're in the mind training mode. So let's continue. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable, with transitory states by definition false. And that includes all shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and the mind, in all awareness and in all response. See how total this is? This is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is. See, this is an amazing paragraph, because literally this is the summary of the Course in Miracles. As God created you, you must remain unchangeable. Like there's no doubt about that, right? God created you perfect, and there's nothing can change that. That's a fact. With transitory states, by definition false. Now, transitory states you recognize very well in the definitions that you think are you, that you have made of yourself. You know these transitory states very well. shifts in feeling, alterations in conditions of the body and mind, in all awareness and in all response. There's always shifting, changes, transitory states, like everything seems to be a complete chaos. And this is where the trouble started for you, in terms of like, I cannot do this any longer. Like, I have no appetite to keep doing this. My God, there must be a way out of this. So this is the all-inclusiveness which sets the truth apart from falsehood, and the false kept separate from the truth as what it is. Yeah, so the false is completely set apart from the truth. As an expression of transitory states, these are false. These are like non-existent, really. And these, you can say, like, are fed to the mind occupation that you recognize so well. Like, who doesn't interact with shifts in feeling, alterations of conditions of the body and mind, in all awareness and in all response? Like, that seems to be your day job, being occupied with it. This is amazing, isn't it? Like, none of that has any reality. But if you think, if you value that, if you see that as a description of yourself, like, how are you doing? Well, yesterday was good, but today, oh my God. Or who knows what, like, oh, I got such a pain there, or now I don't have any pain there, like, hopefully it will not start again tomorrow. Or who knows what. Like, all of this consideration and evaluation of yourself is the transitory states that we're talking about here. So they give you no information except you see it as information that's related to you. But the you that you describe as yourself isn't what you are. Now, here are some questions, if you didn't have any. Is it not strange that you believe to think you made the world you see is arrogance? So, like, isn't it strange that you think that it's arrogance to believe that you made the world? Well, it's not. God made it not, of this you can be sure. Like, the world you see is what you have given it, is what you made of it. That's not arrogance, but that's exactly what happened. Now, what do you see? Is that peace and joy, harmony and abundant supply and absolute interconnectedness, on a scale so incredible that it's like it's only the grace of God being reflected? If that is so, that would be wonderful. It might not be that way. What can he know about the ephemeral? What can God know about the ephemeral, the sinful and the guilty, the afraid, the suffering and the lonely, and the mind that lives within a body that must die? What can he know about it if he did not make it? If it didn't cross his mind, literally, it didn't cross his mind to think like this, that would be an impossibility. He knows absolutely nothing about it. Sinful, guilty, afraid, suffering, lonely, the mind within a body that must die. Yeah, God doesn't know anything about that. So here is, in fact, like our way out of this. And this is immediately like a practice or a prayer, you could say. So let's take some time then to do that. Now, do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false and only truth is true? We think of truth alone as we arise and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this. I hope that you join me in this. The power of decision is my own. Today I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. And release everything else, of course. So now, do we join in glad acknowledgement that lies are false and only truth is true? We think of truth alone as we arise and spend 5 minutes practicing its ways, encouraging our frightened minds with this. The power of decision is my own. This day, today, I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. So let's be still for a moment. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. So this is like the answer is in the experience. When we say this more and more, it's like the answer to this is in the experience that you're having. So you accept this, then you are literally coming to a moment of invisibility. That's the offering. That's the light that enters your mind as soon as you release, as soon as you let go. Then there's the opening of your consciousness and a light experience is possible. It's not that you can force that or anything, but it's more like that is given. That is when you know you said yes to that. And so that's always good and lovely to experience. All right, so I want to keep it like this for the miracles recap for today. So we continue in a moment with the next part, and that is the healing circle. So you're welcome to stay, and we're going to continue first with listening to it's a part from A Course in Miracles that's really lovely. It's like the Forgotten Song, and that is our a moment. So I'm going to play some music now. See this as a little pause, so you can do whatever you need to do. But you're invited to come back. Like right after a couple of minutes, we get started with the healing circle. So I hope to see you in a couple of minutes. Thank you so much.